Welcome back to the week of wrestling, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a while, but I'm your host, Hunter Chambliss. I'm joined by my co-host, Ryan Payne. How's it going, man?
I'm doing very well, actually. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. It is WrestleMania 40 weekend. I am super excited, and we are doing our WrestleMania 40 predictions video. I'm super hyped to get into it. So, Ryan, if you're ready, actually, let's start on your thoughts on the booking of the WrestleMania 40 card, and if you think that this is going to be a really good WrestleMania weekend.
Well, so far with the card, it is looking like a really stacked show.
Mhm.
And I'm still a few of those detractors that's not a fan of WWE of WrestleMania being 2 nights. But
I'm a big fan of it. Please, no 8-hour manias.
no, I'm not hoping for that anymore. I don't want that. My biggest problem, at least before it happened, was that Vince was overbooking, putting too many matches on there
Mhm.
to be plus that. I mean, 35 was clearly the straw on the camel's back, and he was going to do that again for 36 if it wasn't for the pandemic, honestly. But beyond all
Yeah,
that,
definitely.
I get it. Oh no, we've lost Hunter. But I'll wrap up and saying what I was going to say. I get it. 2 nights is kind of a good thing. It more opportunities for wrestlers to be on the card. Having them go back to the venue for two days back to back, and fans, who want to go to WrestleMania who can't do both nights can at least go to the first night, and then there are fans who can be there on the second night. So I do see the benefits of that. It's just like from a standpoint of WrestleMania used to be this gem of theirs where they would really try to, if they were lucky, build a year worth of storylines that would culminate at WrestleMania. But in mostly the storylines of WrestleMania would always start like around Survivor Series or Royal Rumble. So it didn't. So
Yeah.
And it clearly is happening and it clearly is like that with a couple of these matches. Some of them make sense. Others were just more like we're throwing them on the card just because we can. Not a negative, but it's just more of once these matches happen, let's hope for them to deliver, because that's not just WrestleMania, but every pay-per-view or in WWE's terms, premium live events. You gotta deliver. And I know some are gonna go, "Oh, AEW, what about AEW?" It's like, we're talking about WWE right now, okay? We will talk about AEW on another time. Right now, the spotlight is on WWE.
Yep. So, quick question before we get into the WrestleMania predictions: are you wanting to do the predictions for NXT Stand and Deliver?
I don't know. I mean, I am going to watch it. I'm going to watch that because I've been checking in every now and then, and what Michaels has been doing has really brought back that interest, that vested interest to watch NXT.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest, the passion for me wasn't there at the time with Black and Gold, though. I am loving some of the wrestlers that are there. I am loving what they are doing. It's just, to me at this point, like it was a situation where they had something beautiful in their hands. They gave it to an out-of-touch old man who decided to ruin it. And now, this. I mean, I don't want to discredit Shawn Michaels. He's done great work. I'm loving the guy. I'm loving the wrestlers there. I'm loving the shining stars coming up from there. And it seems under Triple H now, and with Triple H now in control, there's going to be smoother transitions to the main event.
Exactly. I am super excited for Carmelo Hayes versus Trick Williams. Have you watched those video packages that they put on YouTube?
I've watched a few of those. I mean, there are some matches I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to Lyra versus Roxanne.
Yeah.
Although, unfortunately, with Dragunov's match against Tony D'Angelo, that's the one I'm not interested in watching.
Really? I'm very intrigued for that one. I think the overall storyline is kind of entertaining as hell. I mean, you had Tony D'Angelo kidnap Ilya Dragunov and threaten to blow his head off a bridge. The real Tony Soprano of NXT.
Yeah, that's one character I'm still not won over with, honestly, with him.
Dude, I'm a huge fan of Tony D'Angelo. I like the mob boss gimmick. It's just funny to me, and the fact that he has a lawyer on his side now is even better. The lawyer wrestler, I can't remember his name. You know what I'm talking about, right?
What?
The lawyer wrestler.
Oh yes, yes, him. Yeah, doesn't he have the same name as one of the guys in his group?
I cannot remember if I'm being
I don't know
honest.
if it's the same name or he just looks similar to one of the guys in his group, but yeah, I know who you're
So
referring
are
to.
we doing predictions for Stand Liver? I mean, there's only 7 matches on the card, so we can go through it real quick if you want.
Honestly, no. Let's just move on to WrestleMania because I'm pretty sure that we have 2 nights to cover.
Yeah. All right. So this could not be the actual card layout because I am going from Wikipedia. But the first match they have on the card is Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch for the Women's World Championship.
Yeah, if that can't be a main event, then yeah, I'm more with that being an opener.
Yeah, I don't think I'm pretty sure we know what the main event is. Like they've
They're night
already
one,
said it.
obviously. Yeah,
Night 1 and night 2.
yeah.
But this match did not have a lot of build, in my opinion. It got better leading to Mania. I love heel Rhea talking about Becky's daughter and saying that she's gonna call me mommy, which is such a great line. Um, I think this is a match that Rhea has to win just to solidify her year-long reign, and then Becky can win it back or can win the title later on down the line. This is a big match for Rhea that I feel like if Becky wins, it kind of hurts the momentum of Rhea.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm the opposite. I don't think this is going to hurt Rhea. Um,
Wow.
I personally think Rhea's reign has been shaky at best,
Mm-hmm.
honestly. So Becky winning the belt, I think, is a good way for her to rebuild it. Not look, I'm not saying Rhea was a terrible champion. It's just from when she got it at 30, at 39,
Mm-hmm.
and then in between all that time, she hasn't had the most steady, constant of not just of opponents, but just more of the most constant of storylines. Because
Mm-hmm.
she's trying to solidify herself as dominant champion, or she was solely at the hip of Dominic Mysterio. Um, and there were some times where I'm thinking, okay, they bounce each other off well, but then other times Dominic is added into her matches when he just really wasn't needed.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, her back and forth feud with Raquel. Like that, Dominic really was not needed there. Honestly, there were times I felt Raquel should have taken that belt off of Rhea so Rhea can win it back to have an even more dominant reign up to WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
So her holding that championship for so long, this was just one long reign, unfortunately, to me, that just didn't win me over. This doesn't, I think, if I should immediately just say it, I'm going for Becky here because not because I love Becky as a wrestler and from what she's been doing, but if you really look, if people actually did, if fans really, and I mean really did their research, Becky and Rhea have not fought each other in a singles match since
Mm-hmm.
2019. And
Yeah.
I'm taking away house shows. House shows don't count. I mean televised matches. Televised singles matches. The last time they fought was 2019 when Rhea was still in NXT and Becky, at a time when I believe she was doing her Becky 2 belts, wrestled against Rhea on NXT, black and
Mm-hmm.
gold. And then ever since then, they may have crossed paths, but they have never ever wrestled each other in a singles match.
Mm-hmm.
And given that Becky, when she came back around SummerSlam 2020, around 2022, she has been slowly moving back up into the singles division. She had
Mm-hmm.
that feud with Bayley, and then Bayley and Damage Control that went all the way from SummerSlam to Survivor Series to WrestleMania. And then when that happened, she ends up having a feud with Trish Stratus, which I thought went a little too long. But you know what? But I did love that cage match was still fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And then, amazingly, through a slip up in a promo, Becky ends up going to NXT to win the NXT Championship and actually do a good thing for that women's division. I mean, Tiffany Stratton, I've seen from some of her matches, she's great physically, and her character work is
Mm-hmm.
phenomenal. But seeing the fact that Becky was the one to take that belt and then also shine a light on some of the other women in that division, give another opportunity to Indy Hartwell, really build up this little respect and almost rivalry with Lyra Valkyria that culminated in her winning the belt.
Mhm.
Those short few months she had that belt was very entertaining to watch. And then transition to where, yeah, she wants to challenge for Rhea's title. And and this is just one of those instances where internet discourse really can ruin something good when they really don't know how to do their fucking research. But beyond my long little tirade, I think it's time for Rhea to lose the championship. So, because right now, it seems with Judgment Day after this past Raw, there is some disconnect that's happening within the group that are
Mhm.
maybe starting to tease some splits happening here. And I think we both, I honestly, this is going to spoil my predictions for some of the other matches going down, but I pretty much think at this point, for Rhea to move forward, have her lose the belt, maybe focus a little bit on what's going on with Judgment Day storyline, and then split her off on her own. So then she can get back to being, so she can actually, get back to being a dominant wrestler.
See, I don't know if I think the reason why I want Rhea to win is because I don't feel like Becky needs another championship run. She's had the belt like too many times, in my opinion. I think if you keep giving her the belt, it's going to feel like a Charlotte Flair situation where she's just, of course, Becky's going to be given the belt again. She's going to kind of run with that. I feel like if you give it to Rhea and you reset her and you make WrestleMania her reset season, where now she's going to be a dominant champion running maybe till SummerSlam, and then you have somebody of a younger or of a rising star take it off of her. I feel like that would be a better way to solidify Rhea's title reign.
And I completely understand that. It's just another counter of mine that I didn't add into. Before Becky started to challenge her, Rhea had nobody else to challenge for that
Mm-hmm.
title. I know with Liv Morgan being back, she is a stronger candidate. And in our Royal Rumble's prediction, I did predict that maybe Liv could be the one to challenge Rhea at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't look like that's happening. So, in a situation, if Becky does lose, I can see Liv being the person to step up to go after Rhea.
And that would be better, in my opinion, because Liv has a history with Rhea. She was the
Yeah.
last person to pin Rhea before she was champion. So you can have that kind of dynamic leading into SummerSlam where you build it as a kind of an underdog story. And then
Well, that's the only thing you can do with Liv is build her with the underdog story. And I understand that. And one thing I don't get why people are. I understand if some people are going to connect the dots to where Becky might be getting, like, she may not deserve another championship. I get that.
mm,
But I seriously just can't for the life of me understand these comparisons by putting her with Charlotte Flair, because honestly, it is literally apples to oranges if people really do remember Charlotte's time. I don't want to be like I'm preaching or I'm trying to shove things people down throats, but seriously, guys, the reason why Charlotte was always, well, not always, but the reason why Charlotte was always considered an annoyance most of the time was because she shows up and within maybe a month or a few weeks, she's automatically thrown into a
mm-hmm.
title situation. Becky, on the other hand, that could have happened to her after 38. Like, she loses the tag titles and then she goes to challenge, but no, Becky stretched that out with the feud with Trish Stratus to me, which kind of did Trish's despite the first match. I think Becky and Trish did better than what was the plan for Charlotte and Trish.
Oh yeah.
Becky holding the NXT title was way better than whatever the plan was supposed to be for Charlotte's run with the NXT
Mm-hmm.
title. Now, obviously, the pandemic happened, so we don't know what the real plan could have been.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to do that. But even then, looking at what Becky has done with her time since she has been elevated up to stardom as the man, Becky's not the kind of person to be like, oh, just insert me in and then I'll do something. No, Becky is trying to put focus on when she's champion on the division, because when she had that heel turn to big time Bex, who was that person? They were building up so many legitimate contenders to her. Liv, for Christ's sake, she was getting that build. It's one of the reasons why when she can't. That's why I believe when she won at Money in the Bank, it was because of all that work that was put in for that between that rivalry between her and Becky when she was big time Bex. Bianca Belair, when she was building herself up, she had definitely had a legitimate reason. Lost in that little squash, and then had to build herself back up to win against Becky at Mania. To me, I think Becky knows how to use her position very well. Sometimes there's things out of her control that she can't help with, but I think with Becky, there's an opportunity to where she wins. She can use that position to start highlighting other women in the division. That's, like I said, it's my opinion. I don't want us to spend so much time on this. This is just the first match. But because this is Becky and Rhea, I want importance on this, not to be immediately just written off as if, oh, Becky wins low. No. I know Becky.
Oh, no. I
know that's not what you're saying. I know that's not what you're saying, but it's the discourse out there. And, we can't change their minds no matter what. I'm just saying that we should try to let them. I want them to be more open-minded going in, because the one thing I like about wrestling is the open-mindedness that we should have, and to let our imaginations really run wild with this stuff. Not let it dictate our expectations, but to be open-minded. Like, okay, this did not happen. Let's move forward and see what's going to happen next.
Yeah. So I wasn't, comparing Charlotte and Becky. I was just saying, if you keep giving Becky title wins, it could sour the fans' perspective on her the way that
they already soured on her the moment she won Elimination Chamber. I understand it. Trust me, I completely get you. But they soured on her the moment she won Elimination Chamber.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going Rhea, you're going Becky. Let's move on to the second match, which is for the Intercontinental Championship. Gunther, the champion, takes on Sami Zayn. I'll start with this one because I have a kind of a story with my decision.
Okay, go ahead. Go for it.
I think Sami is going to win. He's going to beat Gunther for the title because I think afterwards, that's when Chad Gable is going to turn heel and attack Sami, which leads to Backlash, Sami versus Gable for the title. You could have it be, hey, you stole my opportunity. You saw what this man did to me in front of my family. So he could be the heel that thinks he's right. He moves away from Alpha Academy. You get fucking 2006 Kurt Angle style Chad Gable, who's out there breaking people's ankles. And then at SummerSlam, you build the storyline with him and Sami till SummerSlam, and you have Chad winning off of him. So that's why I'm going Sami to win.
That is a very interesting one. I, too, in my mind, was playing off something of a Sami versus Chad thing, because mainly from that six-pack, I believe six-pack challenge, when Sami did win, Chad's shoulders weren't completely on the mat. So instead of thinking of a heel turn, I would have thought if Sami wins, Chad comes to Raw, challenges him, saying, I trained you for this. I wanted you to be if I couldn't be the man to beat Gunther, I want someone else. I want to train someone who can. And then he would direct then he would pivot things to, now let's talk about some unfinished business. And then he would point to that moment that happened on Raw, on the Titantron, and say, you are champion, and I have a legitimate reason to challenge you for that title. And then it could be more of and maybe Chad can still be the face in this situation, to where, now I have that I have that ace. I could be like many of those guys in the back and use it on you and wrestle you tonight. But instead, I want an opportunity to face you. And then Sami could be Sami can not only be the guy that understands, but he could be like, no, you got me here. I'm going to give you this opportunity. And they could either wrestle on Raw or wrestle at Clash the Castle or Backlash, And then Sami beats Chad, and then Chad turns heel, starts to move away from Alpha Academy. Because obviously they are set. I think from some of the last couple of Raws I've watched, Alpha Academy has definitely become their own thing with Otis, Maxine, and and Akira. Chad
Zawa.
has popped
Yeah.
in every now and then. And at this point, yeah, Chad's like in a more serious setup. And also, I mean, after Gunther attacking him on Raw, I think they're going to hold off on that until
Mhm.
a moment. And if Gunther does retain, I could see maybe Chad Gable to try to step up on the WrestleMania after. But for this
Yeah. So,
scenario,
oh,
oh,
go ahead.
I'm just gonna say I'm also going for Sami Zayn. Go ahead.
Yeah. So the reason I was thinking Sammy turns at Mania, or not Sammy,
Chad, yeah.
Chad turns at Mania, is because one, it would give Chad this Mania moment that he's not getting on the show. So you can turn that into a storyline. But also, it leads not only to Backlash, but it can also lead to SummerSlam. You can build this up to be a 2 to 3 pay-per-view rivalry because of the fact that, like, Chad can be like, hey, you never beat me. My shoulders were up. I trained you for this. So it was me who, led you to this victory. Or if you really wanted to, you could have Chad, who is so upset with Gunther, he goes out and costs Gunther the match, and maybe Sammy gets pissed at him, and then we go to Summer or Backlash where
Mm-hmm.
they have a friendly match, and then a Backlash he turns. He's like, "I helped you win the title, and you're gonna turn your back on me." So either way, like you have this kind of push and pull with Chad and Sammy, where it's like, what are they really doing? Because there's no way I can see them just being okay with Gable just training Sammy to beat Gunther after all that he did to him leading up
Including
to
that
the
little
title
package
match.
where he said to Sammy, "I can't beat Gunther." You
Mm-hmm.
know, that definitely sounds like a man like a disheveled.
Yeah. So he's getting ready to snap. And I just think going full 2006 Kurt Angle, like Perk Angle with Chad Gable, would be fucking incredible, man.
Yeah. But yeah, to me, I do see that there is an opportunity for a heel turn Chad. I kind of want it to be a little later, to
Mm-hmm.
really let it mellow, let it really wallow with Chad.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. If they're gonna pull that trigger immediately, I don't want it to be at the WrestleMania. Maybe the WrestleMania afterwards, because even then, what's bigger moments of a WrestleMania moment is the WrestleMania after.
Yeah. But also, this frees up Gunther to now go after the world title. So
Yes.
you kind of catapult this year plus title reign into a world heavy title shot. All right, let's move on to the 6-pack tag team ladder match for the world tag team titles. A lot of names here. So we have Judgment Day versus DIY versus Awesome Truth versus New Day versus A-Town Down Under, which I love that name. Austin Theory and
Very
Grayson
interesting.
Waller. And New Catch Republic, Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne. Who are you
That's the
selecting for this
name.
match?
Oh wow.
Yep, New Catch Republic.
Yeah, well, yeah, it can't be Mustache Mountain. They did that with Bait and Trent
Mm-hmm.
7.
Just call
I
him
mean,
British Strong Style.
even then, oh yeah, British Strong Style. Yeah, even then, Mustache Mountain was still kind of a thing when Pete Dunne was part of their group.
Yeah, British Strong Style. Come on, do it.
Unfortunately, I don't think they can. I mean, with WWE, they do as much as Triple H and with at least part of TKO, they are opening up the doors more for international like recognition. It's still
Mm-hmm.
unfortunate with WWE is like you come
Don't
here.
they own Progress Wrestling though?
I believe so.
And British Strong Style was a Progress Wrestling faction. So if they wanted to, they technically own the name British Strong Style.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I'm double checking. Yeah, they do actually. I don't know. I guess. I mean, who knows? I kind of want to believe that, but yeah.
All right, so who are you selected for this one?
If what I'm hearing is true, some of the rumors are true that this might be the opportunity to split
Please
those.
split the belts.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, if this is the opportunity for them to split the belts,
Mm-hmm.
then okay, that's gonna be okay. I'm gonna split this up. This is gonna be here is my prediction set
Mm-hmm.
list. A, if that's not happening, if it's not happening, then my pick for them to win both belts would I'm gonna say Awesome Truth. That's
Okay.
A. But for B, if that is the plan, then for the Raw belts, I would pick DIY, and then for the SmackDown belts, A Town Under.
A-Town Down Under.
Yes.
I don't know if I would go with them, only because I'm pretty sure they're getting ready to split them up.
Really?
I mean,
I don't know because this was if I know on Twitter it does look like they're okay. The reason I don't think they're splitting them up just yet because just recently on Twitter I think there's this faux Twitter beef going on between Austin Theory and this Twitter user named Joey Swole. You don't know who he is. What I know of him is that he's pretty much he's a gym bro, but he's one of those gym bros who is trying to who's all pot who's all about gym etiquette. Like, have you ever come across those TikTok videos?
Oh, 100%. I know what you're talking about. Yep.
Yeah, he's that guy who really criticizes and down talks people who have terrible etiquettes in the gym. That's that guy. Austin Theory and Grayson Waller had an instance at a gym, and he made a reaction to that. And then Austin Theory reacted to him, and then he made a follow-up video.
That's great.
So that feels like to me that I don't know if he's going to show up at Mania to cost them, but if he's there in the crowd, and then Austin and Grayson notice him, and then it's kind of like, oh, that's going to spill on the SmackDown.
That would be awesome. So yeah, I'm not sure how to select this one because I'm pretty sure they're splitting up the belts. They need to.
Yeah, and I don't think Judgment Day, like I spoiled before, I don't think Judgment Day needs any more belts now. They've had a great run, but after this whole thing with the R-Truth thing, I actually, you know what? I think I'm going to retroactively remove. I will have R-Truth, Awesome Truth win the Raw belts, but DIY to win the SmackDown belts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm going to go with. If we're splitting up the belts, I'm going Awesome Truth to win the Raw belts.
Mm-hmm.
And this is tough. I want to say New Catch Republic because I really love Ty Bate and Pete Dunne. You know what? I'm going to go with them.
Yeah,
New Catch Republic to win the SmackDown belts.
This honestly is kind of like a coin flip in the air.
But if we're keeping the belts, together, then I'm going to go with Awesome Truth to win it all.
Mm-hmm.
I think R-Truth is on a roll right now.
Yeah, and the story is there.
Mm-hmm.
It's just there.
There is a third rumor that I've heard flying around in some places. And I don't know if I like this or not, but it could be hilarious. Is that they never said how to win the match. So what if one person from one team grabs one belt and one from another team grabs another belt and they're forced to team up. And then that's how you get Damian Priest teaming up with R-Truth.
Oh. All I've heard from a rumor is they never said how it ends. They just so it would have been funny.
So R-Truth grabs like 2 sets of belts. Damian Priest grabs the other 2 sets of belts, and now they're forced to team up with each other.
Yeah. I mean, it could be a way to still keep Priest away from everyone speculating if he's going to cash in that Money in the Bank contract.
Oh, we will get to that, man.
Oh, okay. But right now, I do think that like this is one of the more open. This is like the Baldur's Gate of endings. Multiple endings right now. Like, no idea how this is, which one's going to be true.
Yeah, so that's my pick right there. If we're splitting them up, I'm going with New Catch Republic for SmackDown and Awesome Truth for Raw. If we're keeping them together, I'm going for Awesome Truth to win it all.
All right.
All right, let's move on. We have the Brothers Battle. Jimmy versus Jey Uso. Fun fact, this is every 15 years, it seems like we get a brother versus brother match.
I did notice awesome.
Because what it was, Mania 10 was Bret Hart versus Owen.
Bret. Yeah. Owen versus Bret.
And then 25 was Matt versus Jeff. And 40 is Jimmy versus Jay.
I don't know if people would count Undertaker and Kane at WrestleMania 20 though, but they
I
fought each
think they're
other.
counting real life
Yeah,
brothers.
that's what I figured. I mean,
So, who are you
they're talking
going
about
for this one?
Gold Dust. This one's difficult. I don't know how it's gonna go because oh, you know what? I'm gonna do a curveball. I'm gonna go for the wild card. I'm gonna go Jimmy.
Ooh, okay. Why?
I think Solo is gonna interfere.
Okay, interesting.
Well, I mean, honestly, I want Jay to win this because he has been very established himself as a singles guy. It's just that Jimmy, ever since I think in the late bits of Survivor Series, he's become more and more of a pit of a thorn in Jay's side. And even then, when Jimmy cut that promo, he it was from it was from an attack that he and Solo Sokoa did.
Yeah. Give me 1 second. Let me look up something. Go ahead and talk real quick.
Um, Actually, that's all I gotta say. But honestly, if I want to expand more on it, I think with Jimmy, because he is the older brother, Jimmy could still pull a fast one on Jay. So even though they have that WrestleMania moment, this could be a situation where Jimmy goes, like, Jay, you were never ready to be the right hand man. You were. This proves my point that you weren't ready to be main event Jay Uso. All that stuff that Roman was trying to do for you, I proved him wrong. You, Roman was wrong to pick you. You know, I was. I mean, I'm not saying this is that sense of jealousy, but it's more about Jimmy's twisted logic to be like, I'm your older brother. I know what's best for you. And by him beating Jay at WrestleMania can be like, you're still not ready yet. You're not ready for that moment. And also, Jay was the one that got pinned at 39 when they lost the tag titles. So this could still be Jimmy like, you're not there just yet.
Okay, I'm going to throw an even bigger curveball that probably will never happen. But I'm going with Jay to win, and I'm going with it. In my head canon, this is what's going to happen. So Solo gets involved, but then Jacob Fatu comes out to help his cousin. The Samoan werewolf comes out to help Jay fight off Solo. You look so confused. I don't blame you.
I'm not confused. It's just like I'm really trying to piece it together because currently, right now, Jacob Fatu is doing indie shows. I don't know if he's going to be in Philly.
He could be.
I mean, he could be.
He doesn't have to be signed officially. You can just have him come out for one appearance.
Yeah, problem is that when movie shows up, I mean, honestly, I'll be honest, majority of the crowd probably wouldn't know who he is outside of maybe that little graphic that was shown at the press conference of The Rock showing the Samoan dynasty, the Samoan heritage. But that is a fun thing. That is kind of like a little fun or I mean, hell, I mean, what if they have Rikishi there at ringside and he gets involved? He stops Solo from interfering. He's like, no, this is my boys. Let them settle it. You know.
Isn't he also the father of Solo? So he's beating up his own son.
Yeah. Solo is the youngest brother. Jesus Christ. Maybe Rikishi gets involved and he's just really like, no, this is between your brother.
Get the fuck out of here, boy.
Yeah. And then maybe Solo, in a sense of him being out of control, tries to attack his own dad, and then that sets Jimmy off. That sets Jay off to attack Solo.
Mm-hmm. But either way, I'm going Jay Uso. I just thought it would be funny to bring up Jacob Fatu somehow getting involved in this. Bring in all the Anawahi family at this point. Alpha, Sika, bring them all in.
Well, I think they're saving that for another match.
All right, let's move on. We have the 6-woman tag match: Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, and Naomi versus Damage Control, Dakota Kai, Asuka, and Kairi Sane.
This feels like a no-brainer, honestly.
Yeah, Jade, Bianca, and Naomi are winning.
Without a doubt, especially after that long time they had with really teasing out Jade there. They did. I mean, I will not deny Jade is a star.
Oh yeah.
let's see. And hell, you know my opinions on Jade, how she's been booked, how she's been used.
Mm,
I'm gonna hold my tongue and see how she's used here in the WWE now, because it's definitely a
mm,
different presentation. I think it might benefit her much more. And seeing how seeing how she was on SmackDown, her as a babyface is the right choice. Not because
mm.
were you trying to say, Hunter? Are you there?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Yeah, I'm not sure on Jade being a baby face.
Honestly, I think it's the right choice for her because, especially she's on SmackDown, because you got
Mm-hmm.
Damage Control. Um, oh my God, who are the other than Naomi, Bailey and Bianca? Oh my, it's been honestly, I've barely been watching SmackDown. I would need to look at the roster, but I think right. But even then, you got Dakota Kai, you got Kyrie, you have uh Asuka.
Mm-hmm.
Those three of Damage Control, and then depending on when because currently it looks like there's some teases that Bianca might turn. So you're gonna need somebody. You might need a bit. I think Jada's been.
Actually, I'm gonna change my pick.
Oh come on, man.
It's I'm going damage control, and only because I think this is where Bianca's gonna turn on Jade. I think Bianca is so tired of being overshadowed by Jade and overshadowed by Naomi that you can pull this along. And at Mania, if Bianca just leaves, then it's 3-on-2, and Naomi takes the pin, so Jade is still protected. You've got a built-in story leading to SummerSlam, which is Jade versus Bianca.
Hmm.
That way, Jade doesn't have to get pinned. Naomi can take a loss. It's fine. And Bianca is turning heel, which gives her character a refresh that she desperately needs. And it protects Damage Control as this kind of heel faction that you want them to be. So that's my choice.
Okay. I mean, look, if that's where you're gonna go, then I mean, look, I'm not gonna hold that against you. But still, I'm still of the opinion that they're gonna hold off on Bianca. I think Bianca's more like gonna turn on Bailey.
I mean, if you're trying to set up Bianca versus Jade, though, like, because based on the Royal Rumble pop, that's what they're setting up. So how are you going to set that up? If Jade's the good guy, if you have Bianca just as Jade is going for the tag, she just drops off the apron and walks out. You could even have her justify it, be like, I wasn't on the Mania card until last minute. It took this, newbie in Jade Cargill that I was forced to team up with for me to even get on the card. I'm not sharing the spotlight with her. And that's why you can set up her and Jade for SummerSlam. Excuse me.
Okay.
That's my pick. Anything else you want to add before we move on?
No, let's keep going on. We still got more to go.
All right, let's move on to the tag team match. The LWO, Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee versus Santos Escobar and Dirty Dom Mysterio. Where are you going with this one?
I think this is just set so Dom can get a win back, honestly, after Ray beat him at 39. So this is that Legato and Dom.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that, but I don't know what is it with me and people turning, but I have a theory that Carlito is going to turn on Ray. If you look at the SmackDown when Ray announced Dragon Lee, Carlito seemed kind of disrespected that like he wasn't selected as Ray's tag partner for this match. This way you could bring back heel Carlito, bring back the heel theme. He hasn't been doing much as a face anyway, and him and Ray could have a pretty decent feud with each other. So yeah, I'm going with Santos and Dom.
Okay, yeah,
You good?
yeah, I'm good with that.
All right, let's move on to the final match of night one, the main event: the Bloodline, The Rock, and Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. Which, if you guys don't know, if Rhodes and Rollins wins, all members of the Bloodline will be barred from ringside for the title match night two. But if the Bloodline wins, it is Bloodline rules, no disqualifications, anything goes. Go ahead and make your selection.
Well, the fact that this is the only match the Rock's going to be in, I'm going with Rock and Roman.
Yeah, I'm going Rock and Roman as well. Also, storyline wise, it would make sense for the night two main event to be Bloodline rules, so you could have the Avengers Assemble moment that people keep talking about.
Yeah.
Just bring in everybody in night two. So yeah, I think Rollins is going to take the pin from The Rock because you got to protect Cody. And yeah, I'm going with the Bloodline to win night one. All right, night two. Seth freaking Rollins defends the World Heavyweight Championship against Drew McIntyre. I'll start with this one. I think Drew is going to squash Seth. I think because Seth is going to be hurt from night one, that Drew is going to have an easy match. He's going to go in there and probably just squash Rollins for the title. So I'm going Drew.
Well, yeah, I'm going for Drew also. I mean, Seth, for the longest time, he's built that championship. Despite, I don't care what people are saying that it's a B belt. No. If that belt was not as important compared to Roman's title, Roman would actually be defending it more on television compared to Seth. And the last time I checked, the point of a brand split is so we can have two different champions. And the fact that people are trying to weigh the belts, like rank the belts over each other, and the last time I checked, it's not the belt that makes the person, it's the person that makes the belt. And throughout this last year, Seth has proven that he makes that belt. Roman, I mean, for Christ's sakes, in the last couple of months of the build-up, I mean, between Royal Rumble and now, we have seen so many promos cut on making fun of how Roman has not been the champion that he should be. Look, yes, he's got that long reign. It's going to, and they've stretched it as far as they could. Seth, on the other hand, he's fought many challengers, and on many situations where they've done in storyline, he's wrestled hurt. Hell, he nearly got himself. He got legitimately hurt just in between this time. So I think this is a good way for Seth to go out on his shield and have Drew pick it up, because Drew on this floor, he's been a heat magnet, and it's amazing.
Dude, DM Hunk is amazing. Dude, when CM Punk did he cursed and he was like, Drew was like, PG, brother. I died laughing. But thoughts on me saying that Drew is going to squash Seth? Like, will that happen, do you think, or will it be a competitive match?
I believe it's going to be a competitive match.
I don't know. I just feel like if you want to make Drew into this kind of monster of a champion, I think having Seth come in with like injured ribs and shit like that, he just hits him with like 2 or 3 claymores and that's it. Or he like targets his ribs or whatever and has like a 5-minute squash match. I think that would put over Drew huge. And then you can set up Drew versus Punk when Punk is healed.
They're definitely building towards that. They're definitely building towards it.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the WWE Women's Championship match. Io Sky taking on the Royal Rumble winner, Bayley. I think this storyline is amazing. It also completely reminds me of Triple H and Batista's storyline, which I called in our Royal Rumble prediction video. Do not forget that I called this shit way back then. I'm going Bayley. I think it's Bayley's time to win the title. She needs her moment at WrestleMania, and this will solidify her babyface run. Who are you going with?
Well, definitely going for Bailey on this one. Um, Also, I think this is kind of a good way for Bailey to prove that she. Well, not prove anything, but Bailey's going in 100%. I believe she's got the crowd behind her.
Mm-hmm.
Io, she's had a good run with the belt. I think having her lose his belt, and then hopefully when Io gets back up on top again, I think she will. I think Io's going to get another chance at the belt. This is a great opportunity to show what she's capable of, and for the main crowd to get behind her. But clear, it's all right here with Bailey.
Yeah.
And even then, this can leave a great opportunity for Bailey to fight other members of Damage Control with her as champion.
All right. So, question about this: do you think that Dakota Kai is going to turn on Damage Control? That's a rumor that I keep hearing, is that like Dakota Kai is going to be.
No, she's already
teaming up
turned
with
on Bailey. They can't do the double turn again because then that would leave in storyline. Bailey would kind of be a fool to trust Dakota again.
That's true. All right, let's move on to LA Knight, versus AJ Styles. This feud is so wild. It ended in a home invasion, which I just find hilarious. I'm going LA Knight to win. I love AJ, but I think this is the time for LA Knight to get his big moment at Mania. He should have been for the going for the U.S. title, in my opinion, but whatever. I'm going LA Knight to win.
No, I think this one's going to go to AJ.
Really?
Yeah.
Any reasons why?
I don't know. I mean, look, this is a great platform for LA Knight. I just don't know if they're going to give him the win here because AJ coming back, he lost the 4-way, did get an opportunity to win for the eliminate. I mean, he got elimination chamber passed by. And also with AJ, they're showing that he's been moving away from the OC. He's going to be on his own. He's being on his own in this situation. So I think him beating LA Knight is more of a stand opinion. I mean, I think it benefits him more. I don't think this will hurt LA Knight. LA Knight will keep going. I think LA Knight is strong enough amongst the fans. I see a dirty finish that will happen here. LA Knight will not lose clean, but I see a dirty finish that will happen.
I don't know. I feel like if you're trying to ride the momentum of Knight, what you have to do is have Knight win here and then go against the U.S. champion at SummerSlam. I think that's a way you can kind of ride the momentum from like a win at WrestleMania and then go into SummerSlam for the U.S. title. I just feel like if he loses another match, you're kind of losing steam. He didn't win at the Rumble. He didn't win at Elimination Chamber, and now you're going to have him lose at Mania. That's 3 straight pay-per-view losses, and I don't know if he will lose a lot of momentum with 3 big losses in a row like that. So, I'm going for LA Knight to win. You're going for AJ Styles.
Yes.
Let's move on to the U.S. Title match, the triple threat match. Logan Paul, the champion, taking on Randy Orton, taking on Kevin Owens. Who's your pick for this one?
I think Logan needs to fucking drop this belt. But honestly, at this point, I originally thought this was going to be LA versus Logan at Mania.
That's what I did too.
As much as I don't like it, I'm going to go for Logan to win this one. It's because it's triple threat match. It's a triple threat match. Logan will find some way to sneak out with the victory.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going Logan Paul, and only because SummerSlam is in Cleveland, Ohio, and they're really booking on the fact that Logan Paul is from there. So that's why I think LA Knight and Logan Paul are going to fight for the U.S. title is at SummerSlam. And then that's where you have Knight win is at SummerSlam.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I don't know about SummerSlam. I'm really stretching it out there. I think Logan's going to lose it some time between then, honestly.
Well, SummerSlam's only what, April, May, June, July. It's only what, 3 months away. Oh
Oh,
no, August
it's
4.
August. It's 4 months away.
Yeah,
But I don't know.
I feel like Paul's going to keep the title until SummerSlam because they want him to have that big title match with him as champion, promoting SummerSlam in his hometown. That's, I mean, hell, he's on the poster of SummerSlam, so I don't see him losing the title till SummerSlam potentially. So let's move on to a six-man tag team Philadelphia Street Fight. The Pride, Bobby Lashley, and the Street Profits versus the Final Testament, Karrion Kross, Akam, Razor, and then you've got all their managers at ringside. The Final Testament has to win this. They have been doing nothing with them. They need a big, dominant win. I think that Lashley can take the loss. They're not doing anything with him anyway. It's going to be a really fun match, but if you want to build the Final Testament as this big heel group on SmackDown, they have to start doing something with them. So I'm going.
And also Karrion Kross, he's a big Triple H project, and pairing him with Authors of Pain and Paul Ellering, that was not just for because to give Kross back some heat. So I do believe Final Testament's going to win.
All right, and then we have our main event for the WWE or the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. The champion Roman Reigns takes on Cody Rhodes. All right, now we can get into kind of the story going on here. What are your thoughts about the Rhodes Reigns storyline so far? I feel like Roman has taken a huge backseat to The Rock, and I don't think it's helped him at any point. Because this feels like it's just going to be Cody versus The Rock. Like, why is Roman even there? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Honestly, I was more of at this point I cared nothing about this whole part of Cody challenging Roman. It was only because the whole thing that they wanted Roman to hold on that belt so he can extend his reign. I mean, they did a smart thing of keeping him and Roman apart. Otherwise, if he had gotten drafted to SmackDown, they have to create a reason why Cody couldn't challenge Roman.
Yep.
I mean, to me, it's either Cody or nothing at all. And if they do go with Roman, then Roman has to be booked to the fucking sun if they want him to break that Hogan record.
He needs to be there he needs to be there every single fucking week.
I'm not sure about every week, but if the moment but they need to start building. He needs to not only defend that belt at pay-per-views, he needs to defend that belt on SmackDown if they're going to justify him winning, him breaking that streak.
Excuse me. Yeah, it's got to be Cody. If it's not, then holy shit, bro. If they have Cody lose again 2 years in a row, that would deflate any momentum that Cody has. Because you can never, when he says I'm going for the world title, you're never going to believe him. You're just like, oh, okay, you're not winning it. So why am I even watching it? And I also heard a rumor that Damian Priest is going to cash in on Cody after he wins the title. You do not fucking do that.
Oh, boy.
Please do not do that. Look, I like Damian Priest. You have not booked him to be a world champion. You have not. He's a tag guy right now. They have diluted the value of the Money in the Bank because of these long title reigns. Because Austin Theory, he could have won the title if Roman wasn't champion at the time. Damian Priest could have been world champion if they hadn't booked Roman to be fucking 4 years as world champion. Because when you have 6-month title reigns, it's okay for someone to cash in. That's what they did previously, and it worked for a lot of people. But now that people are having these 2, 3, 4-year title reigns, the Money in the Bank means nothing because you know that this random person is not going to beat him for the title. Because they're going to set up something big to end this, long title reign. And what do you do with the Money in the Bank at that point? You have him go out to the IC or US title? No, because that devalues the Money in the Bank contract. So what do? You haven't booked.
I mean, if Vince was in charge, he definitely would have had Damian cash in on that Intercontinental title just so Roman could break it.
Yep. But I don't know what you would do because, like, for example, if LA Knight won the Money in the Bank, I could see him beating Roman because they were setting him up to be a challenger for Roman anyway. But with Damian Priest, you haven't booked him in a very good way to hold a world title. You just haven't. Like, unless you do something where, like, Finn Balor cost him the cash in, then you do a breakup of Judgment Day and have Finn go after Priest. You could do something like that, but then again, that kind of devalues the Money in the Bank as well. So, I mean, I don't know what you do. Go ahead. Sorry, I went on to
no. You're making a point here. No, it's. I didn't want to interrupt you. Actually,
no. I mean, I'm tangent over, so you can go ahead and talk about that if you want, real quick.
Yeah, I have no tangent over this. I'm honestly done with this. I mean, my biggest tangent was just mainly over just with Becky and Rhea because that was honestly the one match I'm more invested in. Now with Cody, he's done a good job during his time he hasn't lost his momentum and his connection with the fans. Clearly, you can tell. But man, I swear, it really would have hurt them. And honestly, at the same time, I rolled my eyes when everyone truly thought it was going to be Roman and Brock at Mania. I understand. I understand that could have been the frustration, but the fact that this was a week after Royal Rumble and then it happened, I'm like, unless something happens in March.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, unless they were so sure about that and then at the last second did that. But no, 2 weeks go by, boom, Cody challenges, and then we got The Rock being his heel self. It's just at times WWE definitely got people invested in this. I mean, because honestly, not many people would have had such a strong, passionate reaction or passionate investment in this main event if they didn't do something like rob Cody, if they didn't even tease that they were going to rob Cody of this.
Yeah. And like, to me, I was one of those guys who was like, are they really doing Rock and Roman at Mania and then Cody's going to go for Seth? I actually bought that because I was like, this is something that they might do because Rock versus Roman is a big money match. I didn't want that to happen, but I'm glad that they pivoted. And I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what WWE tries to spin. This was not their plan. This is a Daniel Bryan WrestleMania 30 all over again. They wanted Batista versus Randy Orton, but the fans rioted and got Daniel Bryan in that match.
And
this is the same thing.
And here's me going on my Becky tangent. When Becky won the Rumble for 35, they tried to strip her of that to give it to Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also another tangent of why I'm pissed off at this internet discourse. They don't forget that they tried to rob Becky again just so they can overstuff a main event on a card that they end up overstuffing. But other than that, it's literally just them repeating certain formulas that to some of the older wrestling fans, I'm dumbfounded at how they completely missed this. And well, let's be honest. At this point, it's all for that rage baiting. It's all for that farming at this point. But it still disappoints me in this community that they resort themselves to do that just so they can start talking. How about, I don't know, criticize the company, not individuals, not The Rock. Hell, the fact that
Mhm.
The Rock's daughter had gotten death threats and was being
That's
attached to
ridiculous.
this. Yeah, that's why I don't give a crap. I mean, I'm glad that she's back on Twitter again and she's able to once again like
Mhm.
interact with people who love watching her on NXT.
He has nothing to do with this. What?
Exactly,
Why? Why are they going after her?
because they're small, they're angry. Well, actually, I won't say angry. No, they're just small and ignorant, thinking that we're gonna
Mhm.
go after a woman because she's the daughter of The Rock. I'm sorry. Why don't you just go after The Rock and then The Rock's assistants can block you on Twitter? Okay, that's what I feel like. To me, I'm going like, if you are so small minded that you want to go after a woman because a guy ends up robbing you of a story that you weren't really invested in, that to me says everything about you as a fan. You only
Mhm.
want what you're expecting. And the one thing about wrestling is we don't get what we're expecting. We get what's being brought to us. I mean, because I'm not gonna say I'm better than most of these fans. I am not. I would have had an emotional reaction too. But the one thing I chose to do was to step back from WWE and start looking
Mhm.
at other wrestling venues. I've watched other than AEW. I've watched wrestling on other shows,
Mhm.
on other streaming networks from Thriller TV. I've been to independent wrestling shows. I've watched indie shows. So I've gotten a more wider glimpse of wrestling to realize that WWE is despite its worldwide approach, its worldwide viewership, it is a tiny, tiny, tiny bubble in the world of wrestling that just
Mhm.
happens to be everywhere. It's
And like,
paradoxical.
all right. So, quick question: do you think that this was a plan by Triple H the whole time, or do you think that they pivoted when they found out the outcry for Cody to be in the main event?
I'm pretty sure Triple H had a plan to maybe to distract the audience. I think the problem is once The Rock came in, and then that news of The Rock being appointed a member of the TKO board, that took over everything. So I'm pretty sure Triple H he probably wanted to stretch that out, but they
Mhm.
had to really up their timetable because of the quick reaction.
But also, we could all see, through this, The Rock coming in was only to distract from the fact that Vince was going to trial for some heinous fucking crimes,
Yes, and
and
guess
they
what?
wanted,
The
and they wanted
distraction.
to.
I'm sorry. Huh.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say not only did distraction not work, it just made things. Well, actually, no. I mean, on the plus side, it made things worse for Vince McMahon.
Mhm.
Just on the negative side, it was just it was a huge attraction from Cody, and we had some collateral from it.
Yeah. So I feel like I'm actually excited for this main event. Contrary to popular belief, it's going to be a great match, and I'm just kind of excited to see who shows up, because if this is going to be the end game, story where like last year was Infinity War and this year is Endgame, they're gonna bring out everybody. You're gonna have fucking Steve Austin. You're gonna have fucking the Usos. You're gonna have everybody come out, and you know what? I'm here for it. Give me fucking entertaining bullshit, and I'm all for it.
Well, that one is. I mean, if they are going to do that, then the ending has to be Cody wins and Roman is
Yeah,
no longer champion. Because if the
yeah.
whole thing does end with Roman as champion, like I said, he needs to start being booked. He needs to start booked in every corner. Nick, they have to have. They're going to need to have Nick Aldis become the ultimate. Oh my God, what's the ultimate thorn in Roman's side? He's gonna force Roman. He has to, as a general manager, force Roman to wrestle in matches that, in most situations, Roman would have been like, "Nah, I'm not gonna
Mhm.
do that." He's like, "No, you are a WWE champion. You're a wrestler, and you're part of SmackDown, which means you are going to wrestle."
But also, I have a theory that one, Cody has to win here. It's got to be Cody or nothing. But two, again, with my kind of planning for other storylines going forward, this is the perfect way for Rock to turn on Roman and to kick him out of the bloodline, and then Rock be like, you know what, Solo Jimmy, you're with me, and now he's the actual final boss, because then that could lead to Rock and Cody at SummerSlam if they wanted to do a big marquee match. They've already set up, the feud between Cody and Rock anyway. And then that leads to Roman coming back down the line to challenge Rock at Mania 41.
Hmm.
So that's my like big story plan. And I feel like if you do it here, if you have Cody win and then Rock be disappointed and disgusted that Roman would lose to Cody when Rock came in and beat the fuck out of Cody every single week,
Yeah.
then you've solidified Roman as a babyface, which I think Tribal Chief Roman can be a babyface. You don't have to go back to the big dog or whatever. You keep him the
Oh, I
same.
doubt that.
No, you keep him the same, but instead of him
No,
going,
I'm sorry. I
after,
should have clarified. I doubt they're going to go back to the big dog.
they don't need to.
The Tribal Chief is that moniker under him, unless Roman does his whole thing to where he's going to strip away everything that's a part of him. Or if he has that feud with the Rock's going to take away that final part of the Tribal Chief from him, to where Roman,
which could be a great storyline plot. But I also feel like if you just turn Roman into a babyface, but you use the idea of family that he loves instead of being for negative and use, for his benefit, he uses it as a way of protecting his family. Maybe The Rock goes overboard and starts kind of beating on Jimmy and Solo as a way of kind of, getting them tough, getting them so they're not like Roman. And then Roman has to come back to protect his family. That's a way to kind of set up a Tribal Chief Roman that is a good guy who is protecting his family. And then it can kind of go from there, where like Roman comes back protecting Jimmy and Solo. And then that leads to Mania, where it's Tribal Chief versus Final Boss. That's what they need to do. That's my whole fantasy booking right there.
Yeah, and honestly, I could imagine that going forward. I'm just like at this point, I'm gonna keep reiterating this. Cody, it's not like Cody needs or has to win, but it is kind of like
No, he does.
No. What I'm trying to say is that it's not like in a desperate attempt for people to justify him coming to WWE. This is more of they built a storyline with him. It didn't work. They kept him away from the belt. They once again brought back into these issues. And after those personal, not only Cody getting beat up, but those personal promos that they did again, they're rehashing the whole buildup of 39 for 40. And if Cody does lose again, it's not like Cody can't recover. It's that Cody at this point either needs to become a straight up bad guy, or they need to beat him up so badly he's off television.
Yeah. So either way, for me, Cody has to win, and that's not just to say, just solidify his place. He's so over right now. Even with a loss at Mania 39, you are able to keep that momentum going forward. Yeah. If he loses another big match at Mania, you're really going to hurt not only his momentum, but you're going to hurt the fact that the Royal Rumble winner doesn't mean anything. He won 2 back-to-back Royal Rumble matches and lost both times. That's going to hurt the Royal Rumble winners. Because now you think of, the Royal Rumble winners, you're like, Cody just lost 2 times in a row after winning it 2 times. There's no way that the next winner is going to win the match at Mania. You're hurting not only the momentum of Cody, but the projection of the next Rumble winner.
Of the Rumble, yeah.
Yes.
Well, to me, honestly, Vince did enough damage to that during the 2010s. But even then, yes, this really could hurt, especially the fact that Cody is now the 3rd person to win back-to-back. No, 4th. Sorry, 4th person.
4th? You have Stone Cold.
Stone Cold, Shawn.
What
about Hogan? Didn't Hogan win back-to-back?
Did Hogan win 90 and 91?
I thought it was 93 and 94.
No, you're right. Hogan won 90 and 91.
90 91. Yeah, because Flair was 92.
Yep, you're right. Cody is the 4th one to win it back-to-back. Go ahead. Sorry about that. You were saying something.
No, that was just what I was bringing up. That Cody is another person who went back-to-back. And and honestly, it would have been so stupid for them to do that for Cody. And then just be like, oh, no, you're going to lose again. And just continues stringing out this little like Cody can never win the big one at Mania, like he's gonna
Mhm.
have an 0-2 record or something, you know.
Yeah, and I do not want them to do a dusty finish for this match where like Cody finally holds the title up and then someone comes in and takes it from him.
Yeah,
Like, let Cody have his moment. Let him have a good 6 month title reign. Doesn't have to be a year. Doesn't have to be 2 years. God forbid, don't let it be 3 years. But
honestly, I'm done. The only long reign that I've been impressed with is Gunther's reign.
mm,
Every other long reign has honestly been, no, I'm not gonna say mid. It's been a mixture of good in small moments, but not great in the long run.
yeah, I look forward to someone having a 4 to 6 title month reign. That's it. Like a good window is 4 to 6 months to me because that gives them time to main event some pay per views, get over, and then you can drop the belt when time calls for it.
Yeah.
All
Also,
right,
for an
guys.
opportunity to build more contenders,
Mm-hmm.
more people within the stratosphere to be like, okay, in somewhere, if our guy gets injured, we have these guys to step up in the meantime.
Yep. All right. That's all the matches on the Mania
That's all.
card? Ryan, where can people find you online?
Well, if I didn't annoy you with my, you know, open mindedness, you guys can find me on Twitter, not calling it X. You can find me on if you wanna, if you're more open to hearing me go again with other wrestling fans. I do have a podcast I co-host with my friends James Shimo and our occasional collaborator Britton McPherson. It's called the Wrestling Ramblings and Rages podcast. We do more than just simply talk wrestling and do predictions. We also do top 5, top 10 lists. We're doing our own little version of trying to do our own fantasy booking style to see, because everyone would like to be like, oh, if you think this is so good, why don't you guys give it a shot? Well, we're going to give it a shot. And the funny thing is that right now, currently on our episodes, which are available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Radio Public, and iHeartRadio, you can find there is an episode where James did his own he fancy booked his own version of how Cody would finish the story. Now, as someone who was there listening to it, it is definitely very different to what we have right now. But go ahead and listen to that episode and see if you love James' version. We also, throughout the month of February, we did this great. We did a good Valentine's kind of episode where we did our top 10 wrestling couples, shoot and kayfabe. I know last March, we were doing our own March Madness
March
style
Madness.
brackets. Yes, we were doing a March Madness style bracket of the best and worst gimmicks. They're still in the pipeline, so we're hoping to release them out this month.
Hell yeah. Anything else you want to plug before we head out?
No, that's all I got right now.
All right, guys. If you did enjoy this, please hit the like button, subscribe to Nerd Entertainment Network down below. Thank you for watching. We'll see you guys soon. Peace.